Well, hello guys, welcome to another YouTube video by myself, Fraser. This is the continuation of my sort of nostalgia trip from New Zealand to India, up to the Himalayas. I've actually downloaded those liveries as well. I need to do some exploring around India with the old ATRs, but here we are in your classic hazy skies of Dubai. And that goes for most of Asia and India as well. So here we are in hazy, hot, humid Dubai airport, and this airport's changed a lot since I was last here in 2006, big time. This is where I vaguely remember we got on our domestic flight up to Leh, which is up in the Ladakh region of India in the Himalayas. So we're gonna try and be as factual as possible. This is the best airport I can find out there, and I don't think there's a payware pack option, but it's got terrible reviews, so I'm not going to go anywhere near that. But here we are. The only thing it doesn't have, it's thereabouts, but it doesn't have the new runway that's been built here. But this is where I vaguely remember I'm pretty sure when I was here, it was just this terminal. This is the main terminal of Delhi Airport, New Delhi Airport, Indira Gandhi, which is quite a famous guy. I think he was he was the first Prime Minister of India. Very vague information there. There's so much more information about that, but this used to be the main international terminal, and I believe that's where unless that was the old domestic terminal, it was either there or there where we got on a bus, and in true Indian fashion back in those days, it was very chaotic, and I mean, it was a very weird concept to think of it now, and this was post 9/11, but I'm sure we checked in our bags, but then we picked it up on the other side and we almost literally put it on the plane ourselves. It was, yeah, it was definitely an experience. Not quite the monkeys and the elephants on the runway that generations before me would talk about. But yeah, this is now the new part of the terminal. It's actually not too bad for a freeware, as long as the guy, whoever made this, implements the new runway, which is, it looks like he's got part of it. I think the new runway is that taxiway, I do believe. But yeah, this is India, Delhi Airport, Indira Gandhi. Very busy airport. It's probably a lot better than what it was in 2006 in regards to being chaotic. But anyway, we're going to do a very interesting flight up to, which is probably one of the most challenging airports in the world. Especially we're flying in a 737, so flying up to Ladakh, which is, just to give you an idea on how high it is, but it's like literally high. It's almost as high as our highest point in New Zealand, which is Mount Cook. This airport sits at about 3,500 meters above sea level, so it's a very high airport, and it's probably right on the edges of, especially with the runway size and whatnot, it's probably right on the edges. I've found this really, I'll add it in the link, but I found this really good tips, information on how to fly this approach, but apparently we're going to enter in some manual, hopefully they come up, enter some manual waypoints, which will bring us down to here. Then we fly manually, or a bit of manually. I might use the heading in the autopilot, and then we're just flying over this valley, and then we do this sharp turn around here, which brings back so many memories. And then I've heard pilots say that they fly this at full or almost full throttle for in the case of the go-round, because right at the end here is part of the highest motorable pass in the world, so you do not want to be part of the permanent scenery there. But landing here, we'll see where the parking is. When I parked here, when I landed here, this was the main terminal, but I believe this is now opened up to civilian traffic. But this airport's, well, it was when I was there, a key strategic military airport, as you can see by these dead giveaways. You know, the airport is, or the areas of somewhat significance when they've got these rapid high-speed taxiways for fighter jets, and I believe they, at once when I was there, I think they stationed the Mirage 2000s there, a mix of the Mirage 2000s, and I don't think they had the Sukhoi Su-27s. I think it was a bit too close because like China and Pakistan are literally just over the border there, but they might have had, when they still had them, they might have had the MiG-20. When I was there, they still were flying the MiG-23, so they might have been stationed here as well. But I believe they don't station the aircraft there anymore. But I mean, in regards to government secrecy and whatnot, you never know what's under these hangars. But yeah, this is Leh Airport, the capital city of Ladakh. Be landing at this airport here. If I remember, I think it's a APU is on and the packs are off for this landing. Need as much power as possible, and hopefully it's a nice scenic flight. Hopefully the weather's not too bad and we can, yeah, do our approach into this airport here. And then I like to do like a mixture of helicopter flying around this region here, showcasing where I went as a young 19-year-old, and if I can figure out how to interlay photos, I'll definitely do that, because I went to Pangong. This is Pangong Tiso, the really famous lake, which is border on Pakistan and not Pakistan, India and China. Beautiful lake, that beautiful, really beautiful, stunning. As you can see, that's where the border goes through there, and it's real nice turquoise blue lake. Explore that, and then I might come around here. We also went around here when I was younger. And we'll do some like flights to like Kulu Manali Airport, which is, there's no charts for it, but we'll fly there. Looks like it's quite a complex airport to fly to, and then we'll definitely go to Delhi to Nepal as well, because I also went to Nepal in that trip. But yeah, we will get this aircraft powered up, and then I'll try and figure out this really handy online tutorial on how to do this flight. So we will get into the aircraft and we will, everything's hooked up, got everything all hooked up here, ready to load up. Let's get into it. We better get the APU on too, because people will be cooking very fast in this hot and humid weather. Get those APUs and the packs on. Next we will get these aligned. And we'll just go through our generic startup. Once again, this is in true non-real life pilot fashion. We're just going to do what we need to do. This is all about getting you guys into the area as fast as possible, getting you guys comfortable flying these aircraft. You don't need to go through Cessnas or, you know, these. If you follow these logics and get yourself a Navigraph and SimBrief subscription, especially, this is the keyword I need to mention. If you really are into representing, recreating, replicating your much loved airlines routes and whatnot, and you don't care much about general aviation, you just want to get in here, this is, hopefully these videos come across as a very simple way of getting you to a point where you're proficient and efficient in these aircraft, you're relaxed, and then from there you can start following other great YouTubers and go into depth about how to program all of these different buttons. I know a little bit, but not enough. I'll have to know. I should know because I like to become a pilot, but you know, all your fire tests and all the rest of it. Lots of great YouTubers out there that can run you through that if you want to go to the next level and actually become a pilot and fly your 737-800 or your A320 out there. But yeah, we've uploaded our flight plan to SimBrief. From SimBrief, we're going to now enter our airport data, so we can come into here, and VIDP is our departure airport. VIDP, enter into that, and then you go to the next page and just copy your GPS location and paste it into here. And then we go to route, just clear this. What we could do is, I want to see if there's any point in... Oh, there's a few waypoints, so there is one airway, so we'll give it a go in programming this manually, So we will enter our VIDP, and bingo was his name, maybe I have to, and I'll enter in the destination airport, which is VILH, Ladakh, Leh, VILH, just make sure that's correct, VILH. This is going to be the world's shortest flight plan, and we're going to use the old original. We're in the same aircraft that I flew in, not exactly the same registration, but Jet Airways 737-800, that was the original livery. It almost looks suspiciously like that. One of those default liveries you've got in Microsoft Flight Simulator FSX. Very much similar, isn't it? I think it was Orbix Aviation or one of those airlines, fictional airlines. So we have entered that in, and our flight number, that's right. Our flight number is, go back up to the top, and JAI is I just made up a random number, but JAI, from what I gather, was the airlines thing, and I just did 33, was it? Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be using this in any form of detail. And we can now enter in our departure. So we're going to... Actually, I'll just see what other aircraft are using, just so we are not flying into traffic. Where are all of you guys heading out to? Let's have a look. Because SimBrief does want us to... Oh yeah, they are... Yeah, they are using these westerly runways, and our SimBrief departure has got us taking off. We'll try this one. This used to be one of the original runways, so we'll use that one, eh? But yeah, looks like they're using the same direction as where we want to go, which is great. So, our Navigraph flight plan, we're going to depart runway 27, so we enter that first before we do the rest of our flight plan. So departure 27, and we're using the SP6J departure, like so. And do I need to... Yeah, activate, execute. Now we want to go to our next page. I think this is where we enter in our flight plan. So we are all of these FMSs has their same sort of flow, but some of them have their different quirks that makes things a lot easier. Like as you saw with the Airbus A300, you can click on the waypoint and it comes up with the airways and whatnot. This doesn't, so we will... And predominantly always enter in your airways on this side and your waypoints on that side. So W39 is our waypoint, is our airway. So W39, come into here, and then we go to, well, direct to Leh. We actually are going to fly over LEH. We are going to fly over lay, then we'll start our approach so we can execute that. That's how this is a perfect scenario on how to enter this in manually, because it's just a very short flight plan and you've got both airways and waypoints. So that's that done. And we're going to go to perf init. We're going to get that. See, it's got a nice flow, and a lot of these FMSs has a flow. You enter in your flight plan, then you click on the next page and it should go into your like performance page and then your takeoff page. So it's got a good flow. So because we're going to do this all manually, we are going to just enter in our fuel not manually, but we'll enter it in. So our zero fuel weight is going to be, I'm just going to make that 56. So we come into this page and go to return FS action payload. We're going to do 56, wasn't it? 56, yeah. 56, and we'll enter that into. It looks like we're going to be in, that looks like it's in pounds, so I'll just clear that. We'll just go back to our menu page, go to PMDG setup, go to aircraft display, go back the other page to this, and then we want to put that into metric, return, menu, back to the payload. 56 is our zero fuel weight, done. And go back, and we want to go to fuel, and our total fuel is going to be, we'll make that 59, 5.9 tons of fuel, 5.9, enter. In real life, I probably would have, not real life because I'm not a pilot, but if it was a sort of a longish flight, I probably would have kept that fuel in, because in real life you can't siphon fuel out of the tanks, I don't think. But because we are going to airport where we need to be sort of the lightest possible, we don't want to be too heavy, we'll try just stick with that. So that's done, and if we remember, we'll have to enter this in now. We always have to enter that in manually anyway for the 737, but we'll just get it to a relative page. So cost index is 5, which is that mystical number airline companies come up with to balance speed versus fuel efficiency. We're going to be flying at, we're just going to go straight up to 38,000 feet, but do we need to go that high? We'll just stick with, I'll start off with 33,000 feet because that is a very short flight. So I'll just, sometimes you override these things. If you just use your common sense like that, that is a short flight. Actually, I'll go to flight radar and I'll just see what the cruise altitude was for those particular flights. If you just bear with me for one moment. And this airport is very well known for delays and cancellations because it's high up in the mountains. And oh yeah, so they did get up to 35,000 feet one of the flights, so we will stick it at 35,000 feet. So we'll just, while we're here, we'll scroll this up to 35,000 feet. Same with our flight altitude, 35. And it's the only annoying thing, they don't have any data on how high the airport is in feet. That's a shame, but I think my 10,000, well, this guide that I'm using is the airport is at basically 11,000 feet, so Actually, we can always get it to quite accurate, actually. 10.6. We'll round it up to 10.7. Oh, we better to get these APUs going. Flip. And we can now turn on the yaw dampener. You need to be aligned before you can turn that, otherwise it just flicks off. Right. So, set our takeoff out, our cruising altitude 35, set that up in there so we can now enter that into our flight plan. Cruise wind is for our 2679, 260/79. Average ISO is +6, so from what I saw on, you just add 6 onto here, so 48, so it's going to be -48. Zero fuel weight is 56. And our block fuel is going to be, what's that again? 5.8. Because we already started burning a bit of fuel. It's always good to underestimate our fuel than overestimate it. Reserves is going to be 2.3 tons of fuel for our return flight back to Delhi. And our cost index is going to be, what was it again? It was 5. So that's that done. Comes up with a nice execute, which means we filled it out all correctly. And we're going to set our takeoff performance, which is in here. We're going to take off runway 27, import our data straight from the aircraft, import the weather, and we're going to do a pax off takeoff. I'll show you how to do that on the 737. So takeoff, we'll just do a fast climb up, and then 54 is our, I don't know what they actually call it in this, but it's going to climb 1 anyway, so that's okay. Wind is 300/5. I don't know if you have to add this in. I used to add in like the runway length in here, but I don't know if it actually does anything or not. So flaps 5. Enter these in, push this magic button here to bring up our center fuel gravity weight thingamajig, and then using my keypad button, I'm just scrolling it up to our trim. That will do. And now we can enter our runway heading. Oh, and we're entering our 42. I've seen people do 10 knots faster, so I'll enter 50. I'll just stick with 42 because it seems normal. 271 is our heading, which is almost bang on. And we can now turn on the flight directors, and we can now start out, or better get rid of all of our ground crew, which is the only annoying thing about the PMG 737 is they stuck with this slow disconnect. I do like the 777 where it just disappears, but yeah. Anyway, we're going to taxi straight out there, backtrack a bit up to the takeoff, and yeah. Runway 27 is our takeoff runway. I think we should have just done all of this while we disconnected all of these various pushback things, but anyway, we'll go to return. We'll have this on our legs page just in case we need it. Keep that on our performance page. Can turn on all of our fuel pumps now. We will, we'll turn on the seatbelt sign up here, the emergency exit, turn on these, turn on all of these, Not that we need it right now because it's so hot. And we can turn off our essential fuel tanks. We don't need those because there's no fuel in that. And go to ground services, turn on our handbrake, release the power, remove the chocks. I think you should always do that in real life to save people from getting electrocuted. And we are probably cleared for pushback, so we'll turn on our strobe light and we'll click on the magic button that you can't see for our pushback tug, release the handbrake, we'll turn this transponder to on, and we'll turn on all that stuff, position, data, and for this side we'll have the airport on, and we can push back. And we'll just power it on, because it's a very short pushback. Oh, you need to turn off the packs first before that to engage. Little quirks that make the Airbus different from the Boeing different from the Airbus. That will be thereabouts. We'll just stop there, get rid of the pushback tug, and we'll engage the fuel, which we should have done a little bit earlier, but that's okay. Push the magic B button and we'll change this to hectopascals. And we just wait for this to power on up. And you'll hear this click if you're looking around. You'll hear this click. That's the sound you need to start the next engine. Get that generator on. Turn on the fuel. We can now set our flaps to 5 while we're waiting for it to. And we'll just test our hydraulics, make sure all of our systems are working. That's all good. And we can now, once we start moving, we will just verify our takeoff speeds again. Some 737s, it must be a livery thing, they request it, others don't. Right, so that's now engaged. We can set this to on, turn on that, turn on that. Set this to continuous, and we'll turn on that generator. We'll get the air in, shall we? We'll leave our APU going. We're going to do a packs off takeoff for this one. Just want to, what I might do is I might add in just our, because I've got the ILS on, it must be just the default ILS, but we will have it up just in case we need to come back to this airport. So we will go to charts. I'm just going to think, if we're landing, I think I will just set it to our takeoff airport, shall we? Oh no, we'll set it to 28 because it might be quite low visibility, so we'll set our We'll have the runway 28 for our arrival if we need to come back. So 10.3, so just go down here 10 and then just type in 3 and then just change it over to that. We'll just set our frequency up there. We'll I think Leh has its own frequency too, its own radio. I'll just change this back to 16.9. And our minimums as well, let's just set decision height to 50. Yeah, that's fine. We are good to go, I think. Clear that warning sign. Let's start taxiing. It'd be great to break through the smog and get into the nice fresh air above Delhi. Just enough room for us, but I don't think this airport's exactly really good for freeware, but it's not exactly 100%. Right, we will taxi on out and oh, look at that, a nice Iraqi Air livery there. I do like that livery. Iraqi Airways, and then your generic Go India, Indigo, and India used to have quite a cool, like, bustling aviation scene, but I notice a lot of those aircraft, I wonder if this is taxiing, and oh no, I thought this is just one way. I think it is actually, but we will disregard those. Oh no, it says you can go both ways. Yeah, India used to have, like, when I first went to India, there's like, well, it's the only time I've been to India, but they used to have so many different airlines like Kingfisher Air and Jet, Air India and Indian Airlines used to be two separate airlines. Yeah, used to have quite a bustling aviation scene, but I notice there's lots of consolidation of fleets and whatnot. But yeah, I do like the I don't like the new Air India livery. It looks very basic, but I do like that Indian Express livery there. But once again, I think they're getting rid of that livery. Right, we can now turn on while we remember. We can set up TCAS now. Oh, and we'll set our parking, our takeoff to go around, our takeoff brakes. And we'll depart from this smog-filled airport, smog-filled city, then we'll go up to the nice fresh air of the Himalayan region of Ladakh. If you're not too sure on India, like, India is not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure, but what we'll do is we'll just stop here, we'll just turn on our... So what we do is, to do a PAX takeoff, we set that to close, we set engine bleed 1 and engine bleed 2 to off, and that's ready for PAX off takeoff, and then we'll just go in the opposite flow for when we turn them back on again. I think they have to be very specific because in real life that can break it for some reason. Anyway, yeah, India's not for the faint-hearted. I'll take off first, then I'll talk more about India, but we'll turn on our strobe lights, get our landing lights on. And we are ready to take off, guys. We are pretty light for this flight, and I think they have to be light, and they definitely have to be light for the takeoff. They have to, not only due to the performance up in the high country of the Himalayas, which is an understatement. It's the Himalayas, it's the highest mountain range in the world, but they also have to compensate for tourists that fly directly up there and can't handle the altitude and then get altitude sickness and have to get flown back down in emergency. They have to have seats available for those emergencies. Set our thrust, wait for it to stabilize, and then we push this magic takeoff. Turn on our and there we go, we're now on the takeoff roll. It's going to be just basically a very hard turn to the right there when we depart. Don't think I'll be able to get any nice outside views for this takeoff, so I'll just focus on this. Apologies for that. Yeah, I got one photo for you, one image for you guys, and then we'll start our hard turn to the right. This is where you fly, you just basically like a computer game, you just want to keep that little dot on these crosshairs here. Using your trims, always use your trims to help you out. Can now go flaps 5 and just flaps 1, and then we can basically flaps up, I reckon. And we can engage the autopilot and let this plane do all the rest. Do all your after takeoff checks first before you start doing the APU is what they recommend. So turn off your landing gear, make sure everything's set there. I might just change that over to the VOR, same on that side. Now we can turn off our runway lights, we don't need those anymore. Just get a view of the city actually. Oh, India, I do miss this place. It is absolutely chaotic. Delhi, unfortunately, it doesn't showcase the city in any good detail. Like I say many times, I feel like Southeast Asia, the subcontinent, these areas are such highly criminally undervalued, underestimated. They should be done to like the London city quality. Anyway, we'll turn on our pack. So we do this one first, turn on that one first, and then that needle should sort of jump up and down, but it's not, which is good. It's relatively stabilized. Is it this one that does it? Maybe because we're not that high, but and then you turn on this one, and then you set your packs to open, and then you can turn off your APU, and that's how you do a packs. And we'll set these to take off now, and that's a packs off takeoff. And what we'll do is, I think there's a altitude restriction, so to just go past that you can just push this altitude invention button a couple of times, and that overrides that thing, because we're just going to pretend we got cleared all the way up. But yeah, India is definitely not for the faint-hearted. If you're quite a sensitive soul, it is a very brutal country in many aspects, but the people are very lovely. But if you can get yourself to the Himalayan region, it's like India's got so many different cultures all immersed in this one big landmass, different languages, everything. But the Himalayan region is just, it's definitely, as many people would say, it's not India, it's something completely different. You guys should definitely, if you can somehow get through, Delhi or Mumbai, even if you just pay for transport all the way to a nice accommodation and just not immerse yourself in the culture if you are quite sensitive, just get a connection flight to Ladakh, and you will not be disappointed. It's such a beautiful place up there, and people are really friendly, and as I mentioned before, it's definitely nothing like you'd see elsewhere in this beautiful big landmass they call the subcontinent. But as you'll see when you fly over it, it's quite well represented in the game, like graphics-wise, like the 3D texturing. It's not quite showcased in the lakes and the water and stuff. I feel like Asobo could do better with getting different watercolors. But as a whole, it's, yeah, you'll see when we're up there how beautiful the Ladakh region is, and the people are friendly. The food is really nice. If you like vegetarian food, it's a vegetarian's paradise, because the Buddhist people are predominantly vegetarian, aren't they? Definitely India as a whole, the Hindi religion, they don't eat much meat. But what we will do is we should have done this before we landed, so we always land on runway 7, is it? Just consult always land on runway 7, but we take off on in full flaps 2. Might have to enter that, but it's going to be, we can land on it, we just need full flaps landing. I've got active sky, and it's got all the weather radars, so they're not, obviously, I guess it's also because it's a strategic military base as well. They don't want too much information on weather and whatnot, but we can almost get the weather we need from active sky. So we'll just, so QNH is 10, is it? QH is 1014, so 10. Oh, what have I done? So always make sure you click on that box before you click around. So 1014 is a QNH. What other data can we get? Temperature is, it's minus 15. Wow. No wonder why they're not doing too many flights up there at the moment. All the flights I see on flight radar seem to be not going. Minus 15, and 174 is our wind. 170/4, and minus 15. And we are basically just going to do Probably won't do it because we're still quite heavy, but yeah, we'll be doing this landing anyway, even if it means we turn off the weather just for this landing, because we are going to be doing this. We are going to be doing this landing, whether they like it or not. Everything looks pretty good. We might have to use our anti-ice on because it is winter. I forgot about that. I might as well set that to 3, and then we'll just use manual braking to brake when we need to. Yeah, I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. Actually, what I will do is I'll go through that. I'll link that information if you want to do this flight. I'm just going to add in some waypoints. If you just bear with me. So we'll see if we can enter this flight. I'm just going to take a photo with my phone so I don't have to swap between pages. But let's give this a go, eh? Just going to take a photo. We'll see if we can enter these waypoints manually or whether it won't allow us. No, not in database, so I don't know how to do that, but so we're just going to have to make it up, okay guys? We're just going to make up this approach. What I might do is I'm just going to watch a quick tutorial video just to see what they did. Actually, we're going to be doing a flaps 30 landing, I think, because we want to be sort of going in fast. So I'll just select flaps 30. So we're going to try and add these waypoints in with just latitude, longitude, so I'll give that a go, eh? Oh, so I think I figured it out now. I'll try this. I'm just going to slow it really down, the flight simulation, so we can still enjoy the view. So I'm just going to try something. I should have done this before I took off from the airport, but we'll try and figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a... Maybe if I slow it right down so it's basically not working, I'll just see if I can add these waypoints manually. This is good because I'm not a pilot or anything, so I'm just guessing as I go. So yeah, I'm just... Let's see how they do this. Right, I'm just going to pause this and I'm going to watch a video. So I'll pause you guys. Right guys, I figured it out. We are now going to enter these waypoints in. That seemed to work, so I'm going to enter these in now. Hopefully they can all go in without any difficulty. I should have done this when I was on the ground, but I thought this would have been an easy process. It's not hard, but I wasn't expecting to have to watch a quick YouTube tutorial, but this is how we learn, folks, through YouTube. In dot 3408.4 east 07733.6 north 34. It's like my old phone number almost. 1111.0 east 07729.3 into there. I'm just clearing these off one by one. In 3408.5 east 07727.6 done. North 3407.2 east 07729.7 in 3411.1 east 07723.8 in 3411.6 east 07717.0. 2 more to go, guys. In 3412.4 east 07713.5. And the last, lucky last, in 3411.5 east 07720 0.1. Alright, I didn't really double check those numbers, but let's hope that works and we will clear we'll put in, what is that waypoint? That is just Lee, isn't it? Just to make sure that was LEH, yeah. Execute. So we will actually, we start from this and then we fly over, so we'll get, actually we'll clear so LEH sits between 2 and 3, so LEH can go into here. Execute. And we might get rid of, okay, I'm just going to go and check my flight plan. Go to plan, just have one more look out of the view. We're coming into the mountains now, which unfortunately we have been missing for a bit, but we will go back to that. So I'll get rid of Tapuni, okay? So get rid of Tapuni. I've got no idea if I've done it right or not. That does not look good at all, does it? Right, we will Alright folks, we'll try that again, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do flight plan. And we are just going to go to heading mode. I'm just going to backtrack a bit and I'm just going to reprogram this again because I don't think it's quite how I wanted it to be, so we will Right, folks, bear with me. I'm gonna try and conquer this. Right, So I'm just gonna go back to this little chart that I'm looking at. I'm just gonna pause this quickly and make sense of it. I'm just gonna mute myself and I'm just gonna speak to myself, alright? Right, I might as well have you guys with me while I'm chatting to myself. So I'll link this page that I've got for this flight plan and you guys can load it up and you can sort of go through this with me while I'm speaking to myself. So we're going to start with LAX is our first waypoint, so that's that one there, LAX, which is good. And then we're going to do 1, 2, then lay 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, let's try this, guys. So I didn't actually have to add in all of these all of these waypoints that I did enter, but I will enter. So we start off with this waypoint here, then we go to LEH01, which is N3319.0, east is 078. 02.0 into here. Waypoint 2 is N3400.0 east 07739.9. Waypoint. I'm just going to execute there. I'm going to bring this up to here, execute, and then after lay VOR, we go to number 3, which is waypoint 3, which is L803, which in 3408.4 east 07739.9. 077 33.6 for next one is, I'm just going to have to clear these so I don't. For waypoint 4 is in 3411.0 east 07733. Oops. Zero seven seven 29.3. Next waypoint is waypoint 5. This is our second to last. In 3408.5 east 077 to 7.6. And our lucky last, thankfully, in 3407.2 east is 07729. Yeah, let's try that. So execute, just go back. So let's do that with the flight plan again. So go into this heading, go to plan, go step. Right, well, let's try that, eh? And we're just going to turn right around again. Sorry for that, folks. Do a full loop round. And while we do the loop round, I'm just going to see what these altitudes are that we have to meet. That one's 230, the next one's 16/1600. Oh, no, not that one. Oh, sorry, that one's supposed to be /230. Oh. 12 and right, guys, let's try that. Right, we're going to change our altitude down to that last altitude, which is 11.2. Alright guys, sorry for that. We are now on track. So I'm going to put a disclaimer into the YouTube channel and suggest that you pre-do this flight plan before you do it, and I'm going to give you the link for the for the website that I got this from to do this approach. But we are hopefully going to nail this now, so I'm just going to speed up the flight sim just a bit, pull up some flaps and get that speed down as quickly as possible. Right, I wonder if this probably won't work because of the anyway, let's give this a go, eh? Oh, it's not looking. We'll turn on our, push the magic B button, and we're going to turn on all of our landing lights. We're going to turn on our APU now, get that running, go to continuous, passenger signs can come on. I think that's it really. Right folks, remember to do all of that before you jump in the plane, and unfortunately the weather's not looking that great for our arrival, but hopefully that doesn't affect things too much. But we will do a clear weather flight around this area. But we'll give this a go, eh? We'll just see how what's the word I'm looking for? we'll just see how much we can get it down. Maybe there's going to be a nice clear break through the valley when we're coming in, so hopefully that happens. Let's give this a go, folks. And I'll definitely do like a pre-weather, one of those pre-select weathers, because this is all like snow and stuff, so we want to have a nice flight round here. I know it's winter, but we're not going to wait for another 6 months. We'll do a nice scenic flight around the mountains here and see what they look like. But as you can see, this is what it was like in real life, flying over the mountains like this. And we'll see how this pre-select goes, eh? Yeah, see how this all works out. Coming in over the mountains, I'll show you what we're going to do roughly. So we are going to, let's change this to we'll change this to world map. So we're going to fly over here, then we're going to come around into the valley here. Then this is basically, we've got those waypoints selected, but it's more visual approach, more hand flying, and then we'll come around here and hopefully we will come over this little mountain here, then line up for runway 7. So that's the theory. Let's see how well it works in practice, eh? Yeah, this is the stunning, beautiful, endless mountain range that is the Indian part of the Himalayas. We'll have to do that flight again in a daylight and just see the gradual change of going from the lowlands into the highlands, then into these impenetrable mountain passes. Alright, let's just see how this whole descent works, eh? Let's see if it will follow these altitude restrictions that I've preset. So yeah, this will be a great test, I reckon. So we might be a bit low in this bit, but definitely that bit we're at the altitude that they require you to be at, according to this guide that I'm going off. We might actually be quite lucky with the weather. Looks like it's breaking out. Well, we've still got this section to go, but yeah, no, that's looking alright. Go outside here and enjoy this lovely view over the Himalayas. One thing you'll notice, I'll try and add some photos into like this that I took from myself, but the sky up in the Himalayas, it's just so bright and blue, so bright dark blue. It's really spectacular up here. And these mountains, like when I went in August, there was so many different like shades of reds and yellows and whatnot. It looked really spectacular. So we are now coming up to this waypoint here, and we'll see if it will descend to those altitude restrictions that I've set. And I'm just going to keep it in manual speed mode just to keep control of that speed. I might as well always get in the habit of arming your speed brake. Sweet, it looks like it's doing what it should be doing. Not yet. I haven't gone past the waypoint yet, but hopefully it will. We've got the AP running. Once we sort of start our descent through the valley, we'll turn on our APU, then we'll turn off our packs to get as much power as possible, and I forgot to turn these on. We should turn on our anti-ice for extra layer of protection. And these lakes they'll just basically reflect off the sky. They'll be beautiful turquoise colours. It's one thing that I hope Flight Simulator, the Osobo sort of gets more like colour palettes in these, especially these like high level lakes. Get those like real rich colours out. And it's slowly descending, which is great. I'm just going to feed the cat and we'll get back to this very, very soon. Alright, back again. Starting our descent. I'll keep this up somehow for a bit of reference. Yeah, and it does feel like that too, folks. Definitely feels like you're touching the mountains here. I'm not too sure if this is that low, but caution, terrain. Don't worry, we will gently go over this mountain range here. Because we would have started our descent a bit higher, I think we would have been a bit higher over that. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. But we cleared that obstacle. But I can imagine they wouldn't be doing this in like real like heavy like winds around here, because there'd be a lot of like turbulence off these mountain ranges. Look at that, that's stunning, isn't it? There are definitely parts of this that come back to me. I like getting close to these mountains. Coming into the main Ladakh Valley. Oh, it's going to be a nice landing into Leh, which is where we're going to be flying over right now. You can basically see the train, so the runway basically runs along the bottom of that hill, pointing up into the mountains here. So as you can see, there's very little room for error for a go around. So you really want to do this once and once only. And it's like this too. It's a very spectacular part of the world. So as you can see, it is a very desolate part of the world, but there are these river plains, and this is like lush green during the summertime. During the spring and summer, that's all nice lush green, like tree lined groves along the river there. So you're going to fly over Leh, then we're going to sort of, hasn't really shown it properly on here, but we're going to fly around. It's looking a bit messy, but we might have to do this manually. Oh, we might be okay. Okay, we're going to take over from this, I think. Not how I managed it to be with these waypoints, but we will just fly this by hand, eh? Bit of excitement, doing some fighter pilot type maneuvering around these mountains here. I might do this again, but I'll do this before I post it on YouTube. But this is part of my content too, showing that we all make mistakes. So here we are, flying along the mountain ranges here behind Leh, and we'll come down this valley here.
Angle. Sink rate. Pull up. Caution. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
But look at that detail, it's really great, isn't it? Right, we're going to do some unconventional deployment of flaps and whatnot. Oh, and we'll turn on our packs too. We'll turn off our...
Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Pull up. Terrain.
And here we are, guys.
Pull up.
After eventful
Terrain. Pull up.
approach into Leh, we had to take control there, otherwise that would have been an interesting experience. But here we are, coming into land at Leh Airport.
Sink rate. Terrain.
I'll definitely have to go through that again and try it out next time.
Terrain.
300.
But yeah, it's all about keeping that throttle up because we are 10,000 feet effectively.
Sink rate.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 50, 30, 20.
And here we are, folks. We are now in Leh, Ladakh. After what was very, and in real life too, they would have used that taxiway there, but we went past it by accident because this is where the takeoff aircraft come around. But yeah, folks, this is the beautiful airport of Leh. Beautiful scenery, great background, and next time we will try that again. But I'll put this video up as a bit of content for not always are you perfect. But here we are, folks. And we'll turn off our landing lights. Double push on your strobes. Turn off these now. Turn off these as well. Alright folks, that's us at Leh. We'll park up. And we will try that again next time and see if we can get all of these waypoints all matching up. And that's us. Engines can all come off. These can come off. Put the packs back on again, and we can turn off the fuel pumps, and we can now release the passengers. Well, thank you guys for being part of that flight there. A few different lots going on in that flight. Lots went sort of wrong, but we've managed to get on the ground here in Leh, and the passengers can now get on with their little hikes through the mountains here. Well, thank you guys for being a part of that flight, and we'll see you on the next flight. We'll probably explore some of this Leh area. We'll go over which is up here the highest motorable pass in the world. We'll go along, explore this valley down there, and go over to Lake Pangong over there. And yeah, that is us, folks. Enjoy your days, and we'll see you next time.